Final Fantasy XIII, the story so far. Final Fantasy XIII was a game that was supposed to revitalize the JRPG genre. Sadly though, that wasn't the case. Played with questionable story and characters, and such linearity took out the very essence of what it means to be an RPG. Final Fantasy XIII was a disappointment to many people, and a good game to some. The sequel, Final Fantasy XIII-2, looks to address the issues the original had. Can it address those issues and lead the series to a brighter future? No, it kinda doesn't. No. So let's get down into it, guys. Story and characters. The game is set 3 years after the events of its predecessor. 13-2 opens up with lightning in an epic battle against the game's antagonist, Tidus. Things aren't exactly going as smoothly as Lightning would have hoped, and she gives the power of traveling through time to her sister Sarah, so she can go back through time, correct the mistakes of the past, and build a brighter future for Cocoon and Grand Post with the help of Null, who just appears out of nowhere from a far distant future where everything is pretty much all gone to hell. Pretty much the gist of the story is travel back through time, correct the mistakes of the past, and reach Lightning and stop Tidus from destroying everything pretty much.
Can you fight?
If I have to?
You're gonna have to. One more thing. Don't ever lay down and wait to die!
The time travel mechanic for the story is good, you know, in some points in the story where the city is nice and fresh and clean, and another time it's gone to all hell. Monsters are just roaming around everywhere, and this happens a lot through the game. It's pretty interesting to see one place at the one time period to another. So I think the story and characters, they do enough to get you interested in playing the game. Now, moving on to the gameplay, there are a lot of improvements when it comes to the gameplay. The first being, and probably the biggest one, is it's no longer a linear hallway. Areas are wide and vast, and it actually encourages exploration. There are many side quests in the game, and they're pretty much everywhere in every area you have, and it's essential if you want to get all the fragments and artifacts used to not only progress the story, but also getting access to other areas within the game. Very much improvement from its predecessor, where you only got side quests in chapter 11 or something like that. So yeah, they definitely address the issue of having side quests while you're actually playing the game. When it comes to leveling up, there's more freedom. Unlike in the previous game, where it was just a one straight shot in which you pretty much didn't have a choice in how you level up your character until about chapter 11, I believe. It's made so when you level up to a certain point, you can choose what ability you want to unlock for Sarah or Noel. You can increase the ATB gauge, or increase the points used for equipping more accessories or unlocking a role for them. It's really more of what you like and what is your playstyle. Maybe you want to unlock all the roles first so you can have more diversity during battle, or maybe you want to attack more often so you might want to increase the ATB gauge. Yeah, so it's definitely more freedom when you level up characters. It's like better customization, basically. Now, in battle in most of the game, you can only control Sarah and Noel, but the third member of your party is a monster which you can catch. After you defeat it, there's a chance that its crystal will drop. Catching monsters adds a level of depth and gameplay hours to the game. You might want to go out and catch them all to be a completionist. You can also level up the monsters you catch with certain materials you get after battle, and it's almost just as in-depth as leveling up Sarah and Noel. It's not tacked on in a sense, so it's definitely a layer of customization that's added when leveling up your monsters. Now then, the game's graphics are great and almost as good as the first game. However, there are moments in cutscenes where the frame rate would drop and you can tell it's not running as smoothly as it could be running. And yeah, again, while the graphics do look great, they don't have that level of polish that Final Fantasy XIII had. You can tell it's like a minor step down. It doesn't give you that wow factor anymore. Maybe it's because it's been 2 years since Final Fantasy XIII was released, but I don't think it's as crisp as it possibly could be. Alright, the battle system, in general, it remains largely unchanged. It has a few improvements to it. Like in the predecessor, you'll be switching paradigms one time after another, from offensive to defensive to buffers, debuffers, and tanks to deal with whatever enemies you're facing. You can change a leader between Sarah and Noel at any time during battle, and if one of them should fall or should die, it won't lead to a game over. It just goes to either which one is still alive. The pesky paradigm shift animation has been taken out completely, because in Final Fantasy XIII, the first one, it was like a split-second paradigm shift, and the animation to that was like, it was a little bit annoying, because if you were low on HP and you needed to switch to a different paradigm and that animation took up like a second of your time, you could possibly die. So it's just like a smooth translation to one paradigm to another. Being a Square Enix game, the voice acting is great. Characters sound and look as energetic and as happy or sad or whatever have you as they should sound during cutscenes and events. The music is also great, but can be a bit random. At one point, you'll be hearing good, soothing background music like this. And then you enter a boss battle, it's like this. It's a minor gripe, but it kind of comes out of left field whenever it does happen. Overall, music and voice acting is fine. Overall, guys, Final Fantasy XIII-2 does address the problems of the original. It's no longer a linear hallway. Maps are vast and open. Side quests are pretty much everywhere. There's more freedom when you level up. Slightly improved battle system is there. And monsters and catching monsters, adding to the gameplay hours is great. You know, it gives you a kind of, I guess you can say, gotta catch them all sense to it. It's a decent addition, but I don't think, in my opinion, it's fully welcome, because I'd rather have a full party of storyline characters, with monsters being like a side activity, you know what I'm saying? Ultimately, guys, if you honestly liked and enjoyed Final Fantasy XIII, there's no reason you should be questioning whether to play or get Final Fantasy XIII-2. If you were in between like me and didn't really care for 13 but didn't absolutely hate it, then you'll probably enjoy playing Final Fantasy XIII-2. No doubt, you'll have your fun. But if you really didn't like the battle system, I suggest you don't give this one a shot at all. And of course, if you absolutely hated Final Fantasy XIII and think it shouldn't even bear the Final Fantasy name, then stay far, far away from this game as humanly possible. It will not get you to change your mind.